Now that I have the sign workbench and everything moved out of the storage attached to the building here and back in the house, there's a little platform that's left behind that everything was just raised up on. I'm not going to be using that moving forward, and that lays the perfect foundation for the next thing that I need to get out of the way, and that is an under tray for a local track customer of mine. So customer runs an Evo 10, I want to say it's a 2013, and we did a sort of a prototype under tray. This is also going to kind of be a prototype that will eventually come into the splitter that we'll make for him, but we're going to test the waters with some new materials that I've kind of put together on the under tray, and this is what kind of holds the bumper in position and keeps it nice and rigid. So unfortunately he had an off-track experience and took a big gouge in the under tray before I could go and get it laminated. To finish this thing, what we're gonna doing is probably taking it to the local Rhino Linings company and do a hard polyurethane coating over it, just a very light one, to kind of give it some, a little bit more durability. So right now it's extremely lightweight material, which is ideal. It's easy to work with, and I think it's gonna make for a nice piece. So I'm gonna recreate that. I'm gonna use that platform that I have back there because I need to laminate multiple layers of material together. I'm gonna use that as basically the foundation for a basically makeshift press to hold the two pieces of material together. So I'm gonna start mocking that up on some new material, cutting it to shape, at least cutting a rough shape on one side, and then we'll glue it up and let it go and move on to the next thing while that's curing. While I am still on the Evo, I'm going to plug away a little bit more on that so it's sort of off my plate. And the last thing that I had to do in a process of making all kinds of custom hot parts for the turbo system is the wastegate dump tube. Originally it was tying back into the exhaust. He's having a lot of heating issues, and it's kind of an Evo 10 problem. There's just a lot of heat soak with that turbo setup. So one of the solutions among many was that we're gonna do a hood dump for the wastegate. So initially I had a pretty simple idea mocked up, just it got it exactly where it needed to be. Unfortunately, I mocked up without the strut brace in place, and that messed everything up. So it would just kind of interfered by about, I don't know, a ½ inch to an inch, maybe at most. So what I did is ordered some 45-degree elbows. I'm gonna cut this, tack those into place, and I think tomorrow what I'll do, just because it'll be a quick test fit before I weld it up, while the splitter or the under tray really is drying and all that's being done, I'm gonna go test fit this and make sure it works before I weld it out. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this up, tack everything together, and then I'm calling it a night. So probably gonna trail off in some time lapse, just a little bit of fabrication and welding left for the night, and then I'm done on this day 20 or 20 days out to SOC. And I might have to make a correction here pretty soon because I keep calling it 20 days out. I have to decide if I'm gonna bump that up because the event's in 20 days, but we're leaving way ahead of that. So we'll see what happens, but to the time lapse.